So I wanted to start here. Let's peel back, one of the first layer that I pretty much thought it was very, very, important. Dad. Now, a lot of people will go ahead and contribute to situations because there's no fathers in the home. It's always us. It's always us the ones that's missing. But then again, you have a lot of, other men, turn out fine who didn't have their dad around, but it doesn't mean that he wasn't a necessity. The dad is always. I believe that you even mentioned that your father was around and everything, right?
Yeah, my father. He was not there as consistently as he should have been, and which is his fault. He got to take 50 cents out that dollar. But also, my mother moved us to North Carolina, and I was like 10, so he kind of didn't have a chance. He was always in DC, and then she got remarried, and I had a stepfather. So my stepfather was there for primarily majority of the time throughout adolescence and early adulthood.
Okay, so there was a male figure there, pretty much.
Yeah, it was there. He was there. Yeah, my
All right,
stepfather was. Yeah.
So let's talk about that male figure in this gender war. Peeling back the first layer, does dad really, really make a difference?
Of course, the black man is essential. Just with the gender war in mass. Some of the main propaganda for the gender war is to destroy the black man. And that goes back to slavery, of course. Destroying the black man. They targeted the black men first, as far as buck breaking, as far as even Willie Lynch making the woman the head, the leader. And that's because they understand the essentialness that men bring to balance the black family. You are the first, you are the leader. You're the head. So if you take that off, you snipe the head and just leave the body, you're going to be walking around in a literal sense, confused, or blind, because you don't have your leader there. So that's why the black man is always going to be the number one target, always has been the number one target. And it's also why they promoted, even in modern day, modern day Willie Lynch is pushing black women to be the head of the household, the breadwinners, the leaders. You just had punk ass Dwayne Wade talking about that his wife outworks him, and leads the family, looking like just sending a complete wrong message. And you see the outcome of his son, you know what I'm saying? And with messages he's pushing with that, so all of that is connected. The black man has to be there, it's a balance. And I see that even with I have modern friends who have more modern mindsets, and the ones who did not grew up with fathers there, I can see that they don't understand that balance. A lot of them will say things like, "Oh, yeah, my mom did a great job. She did a great job by herself." And I'm like, well, you're missing the fact that how much more you missed out of, you missed out on because your father wasn't there. That discipline, that sense of respect for men in general is what you get from your man. It's what you get when you start with your father. Your father is the first person you fall in love with, the first man you fall in love with. So if you're not taught that balance, if you're not taught that how to interact with the man, how to respect that discipline, if you're not getting that correction from your father first, it's going you're going to have struggles all the way going throughout your life. And I can even say this for myself, even though I had a stepfather, the fact that I did not have my actual father there for a long period of time consistently, it affected my view on men. It affected my interactions with men. Even my respect level for men. I was a masculina growing up. I was the type to argue with dudes, had a lot of guy friends. I was in we was freestyling at lunch and shit. I was that type of adolescent, growing up. And, I had a hard time being vulnerable with men because I was never able to do that, learn that directly from my father. It was like I was just kind of forced because the way that, my mother got remarried, but the way that she got remarried was egregious. We kind of just moved in with this nigga out of nowhere because we got kicked out of my aunt's house. So we was really homeless for a couple hours until this nigga just came, picked us up, moved us in, and then that was my stepdaddy. I was like, who the fuck is this nigga? So it took time for me to even start to respect him, and start to build that relationship with him. But because of that, it definitely affected my whole relationship with men in general. So yeah, black men, they're essential. You need your fathers in the house.
Told that story that pretty much one of the most predominant men in your life just happened to be step. And I'm gonna tell you, flowing back to that first layer. Being a dad, especially a black dad, is freaking hard. It is. Because the thing is, there really isn't too much good representation of us. And the thing is, I'm very traditional. So the thing is, I have to basically make sure I'm not a buffoon because a lot of black dads on TV are fucking, buffoons, or we're on some G shit, like Ghost.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, we're not really available. It's like you just can't get like a dope medium of a dad. You probably get the closest with Blackish, probably the closest.
And he's even goofy as hell. Yeah.
Exactly. We could go for Lincoln Heights. And it's like, but damn, he a fucking cocky 5-0. But still, it's this is all we got.
Very
and
intentional too. That's part of gender war propaganda.
Yeah, which means a lot of us really need to stop fucking with TV altogether. Even Black as fuck, even though it was funny to me, sometimes we just kind of like take the break, pump the brakes on like TV and shit like that. And I'm gonna tell you something, being a freaking role model for a little girl is one of the most hardest things you can do because the thing is, I was already a reader, but I have to make sure that I know enough so I can game her up. And if I don't know the answer to what she's asking, then her and I gotta look the shit up together. Let's go to mom. We all know dad is not always going to be around because back then, dad got locked up. Dad got killed. Or we just don't know who dad is. Mom's was wild. It happens. We don't want to go ahead and put the blame and accountability on mom. I don't because I think that's probably like a piece of the war there. But honestly, how many moms or how many friends of these moms that everybody know really haven't got on their necks about raising a responsible young man, in your opinion?
Well, I can say from my experience, as far as trying to speak to black women in general, okay, we've been sold a dream that we can do this by ourselves. This goes back even to my first point where some of my friends who have modern mindsets, they don't see the problems in how their mothers raised them without their fathers there, and the lack of balance, that they did not have growing up. Okay. So even talking to black women with children, I can say this to myself. I got sisters with kids. Okay. They can be some of the hardest to talk to sometimes. Okay. Because they think they know it all. If I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? They feel like
I had a baby. You can't tell me shit.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I said. In general, black women, it's hard for us. Come on. Kevin Samuels to Monique to goddamn Ayala Van Zandt to Shahrazad Ali. Like, you can't tell black women shit. Okay, at this point, especially modern day black women, leading up to this point, that we have not done anything but gotten worse as far when it comes to modern mindsets. Okay, so when you talk about black mothers, they double down on that. It's like, I'm a black woman and bitch, I'm a mother. I've been doing this for 15 years, especially the older ones. I've been raising kids all my life. I ain't need no man. I've been doing it by myself. If we being honest, a lot of them getting government assistance. A lot of them have family members that help. A lot of them have other resources that are actually helping them, that are kind of not even replacing, but are a secondary.
Nah, it's replacing. You were right the first time. It replaced it. You were right the first time.
What they use to replace men, Mm-hmm. But they got into this mindset where they think they're like superwoman, and they're so strong and so independent, where they don't need a man and that they've done everything by themselves, and now you just can't tell them a goddamn thing. It's very frustrating, even for myself with my own mother, even having to confront her about things that I had, some of the problems that I'm realizing now about growing up, like the fact that she moved us to North Carolina so abruptly, because when she moved us, when she moved us to North Carolina, she didn't tell us we was moving. She told us that we was going down there. She lied to us. Told us we was going down there to visit my aunt. We ended up fucking getting enrolled in school and shit. I'm like, what the fuck am I?
Your mama said we taking a trip.
And the only thing when I confront her about it is, oh well, your father was da-da-da, and I had to make the best decisions for me, and she crying and shit and getting loud, and it's like the conversation ain't going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for even hold them accountable. And so I get it why even black men coming to us, even the modern women who don't have children, coming to us trying to have simple conversations is hard. Because we've been groomed to believe that this entitlement, this sense of really selfishness is what we should have, is that everyone should be catering to us, and we get that, we're in that matriarchal, especially because in Black Americans specifically, we have this matriarchal setup for so long. A lot of our families, it's like, you can't tell us nothing. It's been a switch, because of this gender, they blurred the lines, and now you got black women in those positions where they feel like, when I say something, you shut the hell up. When I say something, it's the last word. When You know, we're missing that balance, that masculine balance there. We've kind of stepped further into that, trying to step into that masculine role instead of staying in our feminine and allowing our men to lead. And of course, again, a black man is the number one target, so a lot of them couldn't be there. You know, whether that's jail, crack epidemic, fucking other things, you know, a bunch of other shit that they've been targeted by. But even the black men that have been there, they haven't been allowed to really step fully into their masculine roles within our family, because black women feel like we the fucking heads. You can't tell us nothing, you know, and it's so frustrating. It's so damn frustrating. That's why I really try to listen to brothers, because it's going to take some of us, I'm sorry, especially for the older generations, my mother, the aunties in my mother's generation, the grandmothers, like we're gonna let them, they gotta die off. If I'm just, that's the realest way I can put it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta fix the generational curses our goddamn selves. We have to forgive our parents ourselves. You know, we have to step into that self-awareness and our femininity on our own, because I don't got that damn guidance. Okay, all my sisters had to figure out to go through their feminine journeys really by themselves, because my mother wasn't the best example. You know, and neither was her mother, which I get it. I get why. But now it is up to us, our generation, the millennials, the Gen Zs, to show, kind of fix these generational curses on our own, because, you know, it's a lost cause at this point. You know, Shahrazad Ali tried to tell our mothers 30 fucking years ago. She tried to warn us, and they dragged her ass through the damn mud, literally. You know what I'm saying? All through the damn mud. She was just trying to tell them to self-reflect and look at the bullshit that you're doing, that you're causing your families to go through, you know, simple things, okay? And we could not accept that. Our mothers could not accept that. So now they just have to take the consequences of their actions, which is dying alone, a lot of them, you know, which is having their daughters not having good relationships with them, their sons resenting them. These are things that are all built up from their actions and a lack of accountability that they're refusing to self-reflect and get into, because they think they're right and you can't tell them shit, you know. And so that's why I really just try to focus on the younger set of women, and even the mothers that are willing to listen, because some of them, like, again, it's just, I'm not wasting my damn time. If you're not willing to listen, you're not for me. And everybody don't feel like that, but that's just how I feel. I'm not about to keep wasting my goddamn breath on your ass. You don't want to listen, don't listen. It is what it is. You can die alone, or motherfucking go find a simple beta that's gonna take your bullshit. But I'm gonna tell you, you want a masculine male, an alpha male, or even just, again, a man in his masculine journey who's trying to be the leader of his household. He's not going to accept the bullshit that these modern women are, you know, trying to put them through this masculine role that they're trying to stay in. You have to step into your feminine, just point blank period. So,
would you advocate, you know, women your age to date up as far as age goes?
Absolutely. If they're especially if you're wanting, if you know what you want, and this is what I push, is dating intentionally. You know, if you know that you want to be a wife, you know that you want to have children. I mean, it's obvious that men reach further into their prime when they're 30s. They've reached in their prime 30s, mid 30s, 40s. You know what I'm saying? So of course, even at 25, 24, if that's what you want, 23, 22, if that's what you want, that's probably where you should be, the age group you should be looking at, if we're being honest, you know? It's just, it is what it is. Men in their younger 20s are not financially there. A lot of
we ain't shit.
To be, I mean, they ain't there yet, you know? Usually they're not ready for that, to be in that role yet, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen it. I do see younger couples. I have friends who have boyfriends that are around their age, you know, and I love to see it. And I see the type of struggles they go through, though, because their men are still learning to be men. They're still stepping into their masculine role, you know, and especially the ones who don't have those mentors and strong father figures there. It's even harder, because now they're trying to figure the shit out on their own, you know, and then you as a woman are trying to stay in your feminine, but it's hard because he may have been raised by a single mother or had a lot of female influence, and now he's back and forth between his masculine and feminine, and then that kind of forces you to be back and forth, be a feminine, masculine, and it's a tug and pull, you know, of power, because you know what you think you're right, he right, you know something, he knows something, he think it's something different, and it's a conflict of interest, you know. It makes things a little bit harder, you know, especially when you bring in children at such a young age. So, and I'm not knocking that, you know, if you have a high school sweetheart, whatever the case may be, because it does work. You do have couples who have been together for years that started off in high school, started off in college. So I'm not knocking that either, but I am saying, if you know what you want, then you should go after a man, you know, or allow men to approach you to come after you who already know what they want too. And that's usually when they get to their 30s, mid-30s, 40s.